And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
Hi, it's John from Under the Table Hot Sauce. I'm here with my friend, the star of the show, Jimmy Farrow.
Yeah, what's up, JB?
Nah, nothing.
It's been a hot summer, and for all your barbecue needs, you can go to underthetablehotsauce.com. 13 unique flavors to choose from, created and bottled in a Long Island kitchen. Underthetablehotsauce.com. Let's go chow, JB.
Let's do it.
All the flavor, twice the burn.
Superstar was wrestling Bruno in a cage match a couple of nights before he faced Backlund. Graham was going to purposely lose to Bruno, but Bruno wouldn't do it. Okay, so that's a story Graham that's a story Graham tells.
Right.
Here's the reality of it. Nobody was going to screw over Vince McMahon Sr.
No.
They might have, like everybody else talks at the water cooler. Man, wouldn't it be nice if we did this? But the reality of it is, Graham knew he was going to lose to Backlund. He was trying to convince them not to, but he knew where his bread was buttered. Okay? But no one, but except for Vince Sr. knew that Graham was a loose cannon and knew that he couldn't trust him. But go back, please, share about
You're making
Graham.
me think now, where's the condemnation for all the other promoters after Superstar Graham went to other places and never retained the heights that he's so enjoyed with Senior? How about them apples?
He didn't translate.
So
I remember when he went down to Georgia, we're like, oh, Graham's in Georgia.
Right.
It was like someone said to me, one of his great feuds was against the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, with all due respect, right? Boogie Woogie Man's got a lot of people, I guess, like him.
He was big time at that point,
dude,
back in the day. He was very over with the fans.
In Georgia?
Yeah, he was.
No, here's where I'm going to disagree with you. For that secondary wrestler. He was the guy.
I'm not saying that what tier he was on. I'm just saying that he got a huge pop when he came out.
Because he was like he's feuding with Pistol Pez Watley.
We're living in a world where Hook used to get huge pops. What are we saying anyway?
But back then it was like you had Flair, the Horsemen, the Road Warriors, and then guess what? Oh,
Jimmy Valiant.
Little commercial break. Jimmy Valiant against Pez Watley.
I completely agree. Pez Watley's another one. I mean, not up here.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with saying that?
No, there is nothing wrong with that. But when I look at Georgia Championship Wrestling, that's how it was different than the WWE. I always looked at it like, oh, here comes the secondary crew. Like, in my mind, here comes the third crew.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, then here comes Rock and Roll Express.
Right.
And I wasn't a rock and roll guy, but I certainly understood at that time.
Didn't the WWF also have tiers like that? Of course they did.
It wasn't so blatant in my mind. It was
Really?
very blatant to me watching Georgia.
I think the companies were different in their flavor, but I think in their approach they were somewhat similar. It's Vince who separated from everybody once Junior got his chance to take over. He's the one that accelerated change. The old territories were very similar to each other. They all played it safe. You had the traditional good guy, the traditional bad guy. Wrestling is real. We're going to sell it to you as such. Junior blew the whole thing to smithereens. And I'm glad he did. How about them apples? Because at the end of the day, it is entertainment. It is a predetermined contest.
Why didn't Graham get over when he went down to like Georgia?
Because you see, in 1977 here in New York, to hear somebody talk like Dusty Rhodes was exciting because Dusty Rhodes didn't reside here.
Right.
When you go into Dusty Rhodes territory, we've already got somebody who sounds like this.
Right.
And I'll tell you why. Let me see if I can find it. I know it's here somewhere. I know it is. Come on, Mike. I am the woman's pet, the men's regret. What you see is what you get, and what you don't see is better yet. It's Dusty!
Or is it Dusty imitating
It very
Graham?
well could be. You know what?
Who knows? I don't know.
It very well could be.
Right.
But here's the best part. My mouth could talk so much better than yours. I could be chubby wubby, and it doesn't matter if you all feel with the roids, boy.
Pretty good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I love Dusty Rhodes too, by the way.
Benny brings up another
great.
point.
What do
Remember
you got,
when Superstar Graham was in Florida, he feuded with Sullivan. Another flat.
Shut up,
It was flat.
Why though?
You don't remember in Florida? Do you remember
Benny, great memory.
Remember
by
the
way.
guy
These
with
matchups are freaking
Do you
awesome.
remember the baseball guy with the baseball and he hit Dusty Rhodes over the masked baseball guy, like it was a baseball player?
Yeah, I do.
See, for me, when we used to watch it, everything was good because it was like totally new wrestlers that you knew nothing about. You're like, whoa!
Dude, you know what was the best? When Florida.
Yeah.
When Sir Oliver Humperdinck took his lit cigar and stuck it in Mr. Florida's eye.
Yes.
To end the show. It was like,
Right.
we'll see you next week.
Right.
Oh my God, it was so great. It was so great back then, man.
Which one did you like more? Like, I know you obviously a WWE guy, but when you were watching the Georgia Championship Wrestling or Florida Championship Wrestling, or even when we got the California stuff on the Spanish network,
I loved them.
Was there anything
all.
like were you like, this is better than the WWF?
Okay, very interesting. Nothing will ever top my feeling for Saturday nights at midnight on Channel 9. Nothing. Number one,
my
when
God.
you're a kid and you're allowed to stay up late in the first place, it's a treat.
Yes.
At least it was in my house. Okay?
No, it's a treat.
So it's Saturday night. I don't gotta go to that prison called school the next day. And it's midnight. I'm 12 years old and I'm up at midnight. Oh, look at me. I'm a big boy. This is very exciting shit. Okay?
Right.
And then that fucking music would hit. See Backlund giving somebody an atomic knee drop. It was the greatest thing in the world. The only thing that came close to it was Saturday nights at 6:05. Because I said came close.
No,
I didn't
gotcha.
say top
no,
it.
but I'm trying to remember time because so Jimmy and I hung out. It was like the first year I was watching wrestling.
Yeah.
And he used to sleep over in the summertime, and it
Right.
used to be hot, like hot summers, right? And my parents didn't have air conditioning.
I'm not putting on the AC, Michael.
Right? You used to have the windows open. We'd be pouring with sweat.
Mercy.
But then we would find
Yeah.
Florida Championship
we would.
Wrestling, dude. And it was like,
Yeah, I loved it. I loved
Holy
Florida
cow.
Championship Wrestling. I don't know if I could rank these things. If I was forced to, probably the WWF
Right.
obviously first. Georgia Championship, that's got to take second place. Georgia Championship Wrestling, it's got to.
605, dude.
Come on, and then I would put Florida. And
Jimmy and I would
tremendous
always
love for
hang
the
out. We used to hang out on
shit, too.
Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
But we would always be in separate houses at 6:05.
Right.
Why we didn't watch it
I
together
don't
made
get
no
that.
sense.
Well, probably because it's around dinner time.
But we used to call
right?
each other.
I mean, what am I eating at your house
I
every
mean,
week?
all right,
would've
let's
gotten
let's
the
see
foot
if we're
up the ass.
simpatico right here.
Yeah.
Best Georgia Championship Wrestling memory.
My favorite was, believe it or not even in the studio. It was when they showed Morocco and Piper.
With the
roller
corner. Oh,
And
my simpatico, dude.
Don's like this, buddy, how you been? And boom.
Oh,
It's the
my
greatest thing I've ever
God.
seen.